Women often say one thing but mean quite the opposite. Having trouble understanding them? Say hello to our woman language translator, an absolute game changer for all men who can't read minds. Basically, this device translates everything that girls say into a language that guys can understand, which means no more hidden meanings or hints. In this part, we've sorted out a couple of dozen more tricky phrases used by ladies. Watch to the end because you have definitely heard many of these quite often, but didn't fully get them right. Let's get started.
Are you dating someone?
Just ask for my number already.
If a girl asks you about your personal life, chances are that she is interested in you. However, she doesn't want to waste her time and energy if you're already with someone. If you are, then be honest and say so. And if not, then don't be stupid and ask her out.
I have a headache.
No sex for today.
This unfortunate phrase indicates that you'll have to forget about getting intimate today because she's in no mood for it. Don't even try. However, she might really just have a headache. Offer to find a pill for her, but do not think of saying something like, "Oh, that's fine. Lie on your stomach, I won't hurt your head."
I'd love to meet you, but I've already made plans with a friend.
I'm not interested in you.
Girls usually use phrases like that if you've already had a date. You haven't aroused much interest in her, and she doesn't want to admit it honestly yet. Simply put, she wants to get rid of you as soon as possible. Thus, she makes such excuses. Under no circumstances should you insist on meeting this girl again. A more complete translation sounds as follows. I'm so uninterested in you that I don't even care to explain myself to you. No girl would prefer to meet a friend if she has the opportunity to spend time with a man she likes. She'd rather say no to a close friend than to a guy she's into.
Do you remember what day it is?
I've been waiting for flowers for half a day. Where are they?
After such words, you should quickly remember what date is in question. If it's her birthday, your anniversary, or Valentine's Day, you can still get away with it. Pretend that you've been preparing a big surprise all day and then go get the gifts. If it's a lower caliber holiday, such as 1,000 days since your first night, then you, as a busy workaholic, may well have completely forgotten about it. The correct answer, of course I remember. Wrong answer, Thursday.
I'm almost ready.
I'll be ready when I'm ready.
The meaning of this phrase depends on the context. If a girl is getting dressed, it could take between 10 minutes and an hour. Better find something to do in the meantime. If she gives a specific time, for example, 5 minutes, then it is not really 5 astronomical minutes at all, but a certain amount of time, the duration of which she determines herself. In most cases, it's 30 to 40 minutes. Yet when you get stuck on your phone for real 5 minutes, it feels like an eternity to her. At such moments, you risk hearing something like, "Why have you been on your phone for an hour instead of doing something useful?"
Why don't you have a girlfriend?
How do you rate yourself?
By asking this particular question, the girl also wants to make sure that you really don't have a partner or a wife with 2 kids waiting for you at home. Also, with the help of this question, she is trying to check your self-esteem, so don't take it as a "what's wrong with you" type of message, but rather as a compliment. And of course, don't answer it like this. You know, choosing one means giving up the others. Instead, thank them for the compliment and go on to say stuff like, "Listen, I'm not the kind of guy who gets into a relationship with someone just to avoid being alone. That's why I approach this matter a little differently, and as soon as I meet my match, I'll be happy to start building a serious relationship with them."
So, where have you been?
Are you cheating on me?
This line means that you need to tell her something very convincing right now. After all, for the last couple of hours, she's been burning with jealousy, comparing facts, and maybe even calling your friends with whom you were supposedly going to a bar. The correct answer would be, "Honey, our team won 3-1. What a game. Are you happy? But I think I lost my phone." The wrong answer would be to say that you don't have to report on every move you make.
Don't you notice anything?
You're an ignorant bastard.
These words imply that she tried so hard and you didn't even pay attention. You should immediately give the girl a head-to-toe look to see if there are any changes. Try to remember some basic features of her appearance. Notice any changes. Don't worry, it's impossible for a human being to memorize all 300 features a woman considers to be the most important in her appearance. A new manicure, Eyelashes, hair color, and hairstyle, dress, or eyebrow shape may turn out to be new. If your girlfriend suddenly starts to resemble a duck, she may have had her lips enlarged. If her eyes seem bigger to you, she may have worn glasses before, and now she's got lenses. Although it's possible that she just cleaned up your den, which should have been obvious from the start. Firstly, tell her that, of course, you noticed some changes since you're not blind. Say that it's much better this way. Meanwhile, try to understand what you should have noticed, but in no case do you ask her what exactly you should have had to notice. Unless you want to see her angry. You don't want that, believe me.
You don't have to do this.
You must do it.
Okay, this is one of those seemingly innocent phrases that will leave you alone if you don't do what the girl is hinting at. But what if it got to the point where she directly asked you to fix the damn shelf several times and you never did? In this case, you might hear the phrase, "It's okay, don't worry." Well, if you really thought that everything was fine, then no, it's not. For her, everything is not fine at all. In her head, she is already thinking about how she can't rely on you for anything.
I'm ugly.
Convince me otherwise.
Simply put, here she doesn't berate herself or have insecurities. She just needs your emotional support, compliments, and reassurance from you that you think she's extremely beautiful.
It's up to you.
It's your turn to make the right choice.
If a man thinks that such moments give him the freedom of choice, he is very wrong. The woman knows what is right, but she won't tell you because you have to know it yourself. A more specific example emerges when she says you can take her anywhere. In most cases, this means that you should choose her favorite restaurant. The wrong choice usually leads to the "it's fine" phrase. In fact, as you remember, it means that nothing is fine. She just needs some time to think about the details of your crime and the severity of the punishment.
It's not because of you, it's because of me.
We're breaking up because of you.
Do you actually think that she will blame herself for breaking up with you? It's obvious that she's ending this chapter of life because she's totally unhappy with you. And in order not to look like a bad person in your eyes, she will assure you that it's all about her.
Do you have a car?
How much do you earn?
By asking questions like this one, she intends to find out whether your earnings are enough to buy a car and whether you can drive her to places. If she starts counting your money, then you can immediately say to her in your mind, "Goodbye." Sure, all this can be hidden under different sauces. What kind of job do you have? What do you do? These seem to be normal, logical questions, but once you start to notice her specific interest in this aspect, she is most likely already calculating how much you are willing to spend on her needs. After all, her budget is her budget, while your budget is a shared budget. That's why you need to draw the appropriate conclusions right away. After all, relationships are about love. What does money have to do with it? Many men think that having money solves problems in a relationship. Obviously, money can buy a certain category of women, yet the paradox lies in the fact that the more money you earn, the less likely you are to build a healthy relationship. I agree that not all women follow this translation. They can indeed communicate with you honestly, without implying any hidden meaning or double-bottom agenda in their words. However, the experience of communicating with many women suggests that for most ladies, this translation will come across as very accurate.
Should women work?
Will you provide for me?
If you are asked this question, it may also be a wake-up call. Perhaps she is one of those ladies who has seen all sorts of female coaches. You never know, but just be careful here. Let me give you a proper answer to this question. Tell her that you don't need a girl to work, but she must have something to strive for, must have something to do, so that her interests are not limited to manicures and getting stuck in the TikTok void. Explain that you like girls who are passionate about something, but how much money it will bring is not a big deal to you. Besides, you can add that it is not necessary to contribute to someone's life with money. The most important thing is that the person invests in the relationship. An adequate woman should love this answer.
Are you looking for a serious relationship or just sex?
I'm testing you.
Sometimes, after a few dates, girls may ask whether you're ready for something more serious than just having fun on the weekend. This is her way of checking if you are serious about your intentions. There are only two answers you can give, yes or no. And unfortunately, both are wrong. If you tell her that you are not looking for anything long-term, then in her eyes, you may seem frivolous, and she will fear that after a couple of meetings, you will perform a disappearing act. That said, here's the catch. If you tell her you're ready for something serious, it won't get you any extra points either. If things were that simple, all guys would go, "Yeah, tomorrow you're moving in with me, we're going to have 2 kids, the eldest will be named." This just scares women away. It's not something you can plan without knowing each other well enough. Instead, try something like, I'm not looking for anything specific right now. Let's see how things go. It's better if things develop naturally. Thus, you don't promise her love for life and the sky is the limit stuff, but at the same time, you don't dismiss her by saying that you're only here for sex.
What are you thinking about?
I have doubts.
Alright, a question like this can be considered an attempt to get into your mind or to draw up a psychological portrait of you when she can't fully understand you. In other words, right now she's not sure she likes you and is unsure of anything in general. If you hear this phrase, for example, after sex right on the first date, think of it as a sign of her doubts. She is afraid that now you will consider her a woman of easy virtue when she is not. A good response in this situation would be to kiss her and say, I think we've worked this out pretty well, haven't we? A bad answer would probably be, I wish I had some beer, a cold one.
I don't understand what you see in her.
I hate that face-painted creature.
Every male group has its own female figure who's often mentioned in conversations. As a rule, it happens to be a shared colleague, neighbor, or classmate. She quickly finds a common language with men, tells dirty jokes, and easily sits on someone's lap if there are no free seats available. Or even if there are, it doesn't matter. She's literally just a part of the group. Don't be surprised, but wives and girlfriends hate people like her. They are willing to scratch her eyes out, but they don't say it openly. It is better not to try to calm your girlfriend down and go, come on, she's funny. What other ambiguous phrases typically said by women are missed? Share them in the comments down below and we'll analyze them in the next videos. Thank you for your likes. Also, be sure to check out the rest of the series.